grassroots movement. It had an aristocratic supporter in the person of Lord Byron.
In 1812, Lord Byron got really upset by the plight of the Nottinghamshire weavers. Some of them were Luddites, and they fell foul of this new bill that was being introduced by the Tories called the Frame Breaking Bill. Anybody caught breaking or damaging machinery would now face the death penalty. Byron thought this was outrageously repressive, and he travelled south to London by coach to plead the cause of the weavers in his maiden speech in the House of Lords. Byron arrived and launched into this passionate speech defending the Luddites, perhaps even went a bit over the top, and he was arguing against the death penalty for breaking machines. He said, yes, the Luddites had committed outrages, but that this had arisen from circumstances of the most unparalleled distress. He was shaking and trembling with emotion. He said that the Luddites had not been ashamed to beg, but there had been no one to relieve them. He said that their excesses, however to be deplored and condemned, could hardly be subject to surprise. Now, did Byron get what he wanted? No, he didn't. This pouting and posturing had slightly annoyed the other lords, and as soon as Byron sat down, they passed their bill anyway.
But Byron was suddenly to become a literary superstar when his narrative poem called Childe Harold's Pilgrimage was published the following month. The first edition sold out in 3 days, and London was intoxicated. There was traffic chaos because of all the carriages queuing up to drop off dinner invitations at his rooms in St. James's. It was a real overnight success. In Byron's own words, I awoke one morning and found myself famous. Childe Harold's Pilgrimage gave a war-locked nation a tantalizing glimpse of Mediterranean Europe. It also marked an early stage in Byron's management of his own mysterious, exotic, rakish image. It was an image that consciously played up his theatrical and seductive character, one not bound by social conventions, one who flirted with the dangerous frontiers of the acceptable. In a very modern way, Byron maintained strict picture approval. He rejected one innocent, boyish portrait, but he authorised another very camp canvas of himself in full Albanian costume. But Byron's image didn't always match up with Byron in the flesh. I went to the London wine merchants, Berry Brothers, to see some documentary evidence that Lord Byron was not always the snake-hipped seducer of legend.
Now, in here, I think we've got Lord Byron. There he is. He was first weighed in 1806. He was 18 years old, and he was only 5 foot 8 inches tall. He comes in at a pretty hefty 13 stone 12. That was wearing his boots, but not his hat. Now, that's borderline obese for a teenager. He wasn't always the irresistible Adonis of legend. And we know he took a lot of trouble to try to reduce his weight. We hear about him playing cricket, wearing 7 waistcoats and a greatcoat in an attempt to sweat it off. And sometimes at dinner, he would refuse all food except for soda water and biscuits. This worked. 5 years later, by 1811, he's lost 4 stones. He's gone right down to 9 stone 11. Pretty svelte. I think I'll give it a go myself. Whew. That just about balances, but I'm not telling you how much weight there is on the other side.
Being a dissolute poet was scandalous enough, but the behaviour of the bloated Prince Regent was truly shocking to his subjects. His affairs with his mistresses outraged the God-fearing, respectable populace.